Hello and welcome to the Blanket Appreciation Society. So, let me tell you a little bit about myself. I am the founder. I used to run the Duvet Appreciation Society years ago. I have changed immensely since then to loving blankets instead. Because even though I had a great following in the Duvet Appreciation Society, the popularity of duvets dwindled and blankets were skyrocketing, and I just felt I no longer loved a duvet as much as a blanket. I tried to fight it, but it was no good. So I opened up this society and have a big following. And do you want to join, I'm guessing? Fantastic. I'm going to ask you a few questions, so we're going to get straight in there. I have my book here. I need to warn you, this is no joke. You will be dedicated to us. You will be dedicated to your blanket, and you will always be wearing one, apart from when you're having a shower, of course. But even so, the blanket needs to be in the bathroom with you at all times, so you can hop straight back into it when you come out of the shower or bath. Yes, our members also wear them to the toilet. That's fine. Okay, ask you a few questions. What's your name, please? Your age. Thank you. Okay, well, that's all I care about, really. I'm going to move on to some really personal, hard-hitting questions, and I need you to just be honest. We will find out if you're lying. Well, I'll give you an example. So, how many blankets do you actually own? Too many to count? Well, that's a good start, I guess, but I need you to think. No, sorry, I'm just drawing a picture. Got a number? Okay, go. Okay, not bad. Okay, so when I say that we'll find out if you're lying, we will be conducting visits to your home to find out how many blankets you actually do have. If you are found to have less by 2 than what you've stated, then you will not get into the club. If you have more, that's fine, but then at the same time I ask myself, if you love blankets that much, you would never forget a blanket's face. Okay, every blanket that you own will be in your mind. You will be thinking about it constantly. You'll be on a rotation schedule. You'll be thinking, right, I haven't used fluffy red for a while. I'm going to use fluffy red. I'm going to put, furry white to the side for a second or for a week, and then keep, because you don't want it to be unfair, really. So what we do here to keep it fair is we have a schedule. So we will have a calendar, and each have a calendar. And so, for example, it's Grey's turn this week. So for a whole week, I will use grey, and then I'll move on to dark grey behind me. While they're not in use, they're still being used, if that makes sense at all. So dark grey is being used as decoration at the moment. And then next week we'll get his turn. And then I have navy blue on that armchair there. He's quite a small blanket, so this is the difficulty when we start involving smaller blankets. So navy is going to be mostly decoration. I will give him his turn for a week like everyone else, but I kind of make sure that that's in more of the summer months when it's cold. So grey here is bigger than dark grey, and it's colder now. Next week it will probably be warmer, so dark grey will be used because he covers less of me, if that makes any sense to you. Yeah. So that's what we do, and if you do get in, that's a big if. But if you do, you will have your own calendar. You'll create your own schedule. It will be checked. We will be checking for blanket neglect. If I come into your quarters and I see the same blanket on the chair, on the back of a chair, or God forbid, okay, we had to actually dispose of a member. Say goodbye to a member because they left their blanket on the floor, not even folded, scrunched, in the corner of her quarters for weeks and weeks and weeks, and it was devastating to see this poor blanket. It was a questionable colour. It was like a lime kind of mustardy, limey green, mustardy. Yeah, it was horrid, but it's still a blanket. It still had feelings. Yes, blankets do have feelings. They know when they're being appreciated. So yes, so if we do see that, you will be straight out. If we see one on the back of a chair for a while, we'll have a little discussion with you and say, look, you really need to bring that blanket into rotation because we've seen it just be a decoration for weeks. It depends how many blankets you have. Obviously, some of our members have 100, so they have a kind of a smaller schedule. So instead of wearing one constantly for a week, it will be 2 days on, then 2 days another. Do you know what I mean? Otherwise, it'll be a couple of years before you get through them all. So anyway, that is that. We understand that people who are wanting to get into the society might not live in a blanket at the moment because obviously work constraints. I think it's absolutely disgusting, really disgusting, and I'm trying to go to Parliament about it, if that's where you go. I don't really know. I'm trying to make it a thing that in the workforce, no matter what job it is, whether you work in a supermarket, an office, care, anything like that, if you want to wear a blanket constantly, you should be allowed. I understand if you're like a lifeguard, that's a little bit different, but I think while you're sitting there waiting for someone to drown, you should be able to wear a blanket and just whip it off when you jump in the water. Do you know what I mean? So I'm really trying to bring that to the forefront of the law, really. So I understand that if you have a job at the moment, you probably won't be wearing a blanket constantly, but how often, so how many hours per day would you say that you wear a blanket? that's really hard for you, yeah. As a blanket lover myself, I understand that not being able to wear, oh gosh, I can't even imagine not being able to wear one, you know, longer than what you wear one a day, but that's obviously your work, isn't it? Absolutely, that's... And you're running around after your kids as well. Well, I'm sorry, but that's not really an excuse. You know, I mean, gosh, some of our members here, they have families living in their quarters and they're running around after kids and they have their blankets on. So some of them actually tie them up with string. So it's more like a cape, really. But they still manage, so you could try harder, really. Just saying. But the work thing, again, this is why I'm trying to bring it into force, that everyone should be able to wear a blanket, yeah, for the whole work day. Absolutely. Okay, so do you ever wear your blanket with no clothes underneath? Okay. Do you get consent from your blanket to do so? Okay, I'm just going to have to stop it there for a second because I'm getting a bit upset. Right. So I have a handful of blankets that I know don't mind it if I don't wear clothes underneath while I'm wearing them. But there are what we call juvenile blankets, and just simply blankets that don't want to feel your naked body. Okay? Forcing a blanket into being on your naked body is abuse. And we cannot make that more clear. If we see this happen and we talk to the blanket and they have not consented to this, you will be kicked straight out. But before you go, you will be sent to jail. Yeah, we have our own prison. We have a couple of people in there at the moment. They will come out and rejoin our society, but okay, I'm being a bit harsh. So if there's been a misunderstanding between the blanket wearer and the blanket, we will try and sort that out. You might have to, you know, experience some jail time first, but we'll try and figure it out. But it's the simple case of, if a blanket says no and you don't take no for an answer, you will be jailed and straight out. We have no tolerance for that here. Just like in normal society, no means no, and that means that here as well. If there's been a simple misunderstanding where, you know, you've asked the blanket and they're sort of like, yeah, that's fine, and then you've done it and they change their mind and there's an argument, then we'll work through that together. We have counselling as well, so you know, the wearer can come in with their blanket and we can just talk things out. But do you know what we've actually had? You won't believe this, but we've actually had to send blankets to rehab. And there has been one instance since I've been running this club, and I've been running it ever since the Duvet Appreciation Society disbanded, which was, it was a couple of years ago now. We've had one instance of having to actually destroy well, not destroying a blanket, but rehoming it outside of the society, because this particular blanket was a continuous and persistent troublemaker. They would say, that's fine, I consent to being on your naked body, and then all of a sudden they'd start, you know, this ruckus in front of everyone else and embarrassing the wearer, and we had to do intense investigations and actually found out that it was indeed the blanket, and because we bugged their quarters, which a lot of people would say that's frowned upon, but I really don't care. If it gets to the bottom of what's going on, then I'm all for it, to be honest with you. But yeah, if not, the blanket can go to rehab and we can talk it through, and if they improve, then that's fine. But this particular blanket was just... I can't even imagine having to go through that and having a blanket that would just, betray me so badly. I mean, the wearer was... They found it hard to settle in at first, treated their blankets a bit harsh. But they're all sorted now and they're happy with other blankets. So, how do you treat your blankets at the moment? I can't even remember if I asked you, do you understand? I asked you if you can ask for consent, didn't I? Yeah. Do you understand? Do you believe that blankets have feelings and they can consent and they are their own being? Okay, good. I wasn't entirely convinced by that answer, but we'll work on it if you do get in. Okay. I want you to just touch that end of the blanket. Do you consent to being touched by another wearer? Yes. Always have to ask, even though I use Gray for all my interviews because he's so used to being touched by many people. But I always ask every time anyway, just in case. Okay, so just feel that for a second, please. Okay. What material does that feel like to you? Yep, it is absolutely imperative that you know the materials that you are working with. Gray, where's your... There we go. So I have his label here so I can prove to you what he is. What did he feel like? 100% polyester. Well done. Well done. That was good. That was good. Most of the blankets that people have are anyway, but some people have some really, really fancy blankets, and well, some of these blankets are quite snobby, and they do not want to be touched by peasant hands, as they call them, i.e. anyone who's not their wearer. Which is fair enough, whatever, they're used to what they're used to, aren't they? So you got that question right, which is great. How are we doing for time here? Okay, I try to keep my interviews fairly snappy because I don't want you to have time to think about too much, if that makes sense. I need to catch you off guard. Okay. Oh dear. So, pending house checks to check how many blankets you actually do have, I think everything looks pretty good, to be honest with you. I am happy with your answers, apart from the consent thing, but a lot of people don't understand that anyway. So, but that is really important, that you do always consent, or get consent. Sorry. How do you talk to your blanket? Okay. A lot of people don't really understand this either, so they feel this unspoken connection to their blanket, but they don't understand why. And the reason you feel that is because your blanket is a being and you are connected, whether you know it or not. Some people don't have any connection to their blankets and they're just not welcome here, to be honest. But I just drew on my leg. But it's a good job I wear a blanket to cover it up. Yeah, so you have to just spend some quality time with your blanket, and we do send home a blanket pack for you to study a week before you join the society, because we need you to be prepared. Blankets don't really mind where they get taken or how they get treated most of the time. So this is why he's so ratty, no offence. I take him outside, I take him to well, I will be honest with you, I don't actually wear him while I'm on the toilet because he's too big. Small blankets I can get away with, but big grey here, no. But yeah, so a lot of them don't mind where they get taken and how they get treated, if they get sat on or mangled up or thrown into a corner for the night, because not everyone has blankets that actually like to be slept with. I know that it might sound a bit crazy, but again, it's the consent thing, you know. Some blankets just don't want to sleep with anyone, and you have to respect that, and they prefer actually to just get put on the floor or on a chair or something. So you need to, get to know your blanket, because a lot of people have blankets, especially the more fancy ones, who don't like to be sat on. They don't like to be taken outside and dirtied up. They don't like to be worn on the toilet. They don't even like to be in the bathroom. Okay, so these things are fine. If your blanket doesn't like to be worn 24/7, that's fine. But if we see that your blanket really wants that connection for the whole time you have them, and you're not giving them that, that's when we start asking questions. Every blanket is made to understand their schedule as well, so they can't get angry if 1 week it's not their turn and you are neglecting them for it could be months. They understand that, and we also have a blanket creche, where everyone can take their blankets that aren't being used and they can just socialise with each other rather than their wearers. Some get lonely, some hate people. I actually have a couple of blankets that refuse to let me wear them. I don't even rotate them on my schedule anymore because they just do not want me to put them on. And I know that sounds really crazy, but they just don't. They just prefer to be left alone. Maybe stroked every now and then as you walk past, but that's it. So yeah, it's about getting to know your blankets. I'm sure you have some at home that you kind of feel less of a connection with, and maybe you look at it and think, I don't really ever want to wear you. Truth is, you could either be neglecting them, abusing them, or you could be sensing their energy that they don't want to be worn. It's so fascinating, and it's all a learning experience. We're learning every day still. So anyway, so yep, we're going to do some background checks on you. We're going to go to your home. We've actually got people in your house right now. I've let them know how many blankets you told me that you have, so I should be notified. Oh, here we go. Oh, they're going to ring me. Hiya. Yes. Yep, that is correct. That's how many she said she had. Oh, she has 2 more than she said she had. Oh, that's good. At least it's not 2 less. And all of them are folded. Fantastic. Or on the back of chairs, or on the bed. Yeah, that's great. So none of them are screwed up, or that's brilliant. Well, yeah, it depends. Some of them don't mind being screwed up, but yeah, we're just going to teach her how to communicate with her blankets, and I guess welcome our new member. Thanks, guys. Yeah, we'll let her bring her blankets. Yeah. Okay. What? One of the blankets cursed you? Well, they probably don't know who you are and aren't very, fond of strangers, are they? We have some like that here, of course we do. Just get over it. Come on, you deal with this all the time and it still upsets you. Alright, see you soon. Yeah. Don't swear back at the blanket, it's not professional. Okay, see you soon. Bye-bye. Bye. Well, welcome to the Blanket Appreciation Society. I'm so happy that you are a new member. So I do have a pack that I didn't actually bring with me because I took one look at you and kind of thought, oh, I don't think you're going to be a member. But as soon as you go back, you can quit your job. We would prefer you not to give your work any notice because screw them, don't worry about it. Just you live here now. You won't ever need references from your job again unless you mess up here and get yourself, outcast or cast out, I should say. But other than that, you are a member here. My blanket welcomes you. Dark Grey's asleep, so he hasn't got a clue what's going on. But yeah, so we're really happy to call you our newest member, and your blankets are all folded very neatly and laid out on your bed or on the back of a chair, which is fantastic. And we'll teach you how to communicate with them better. One of your blankets sounds a bit feisty and swore at one of my guys. Yeah, it was the red one. I guess red represents anger, so I think they're just scared because strange people going into your house, their house. Okay, well, fantastic. I'll get you that pack ready and I'll show you to your room. And you can go home and pack up all your things. We would prefer you to pack up all your things in a day and bring them here. You can bring anything you want with you. It's absolutely fine. You're going to have a massive room, so don't worry about that. And this is exciting. I'm going to go celebrate with my other blankets, and we're going to have a little party later. Yeah. Okay, fantastic. Right, come on then, Grey. Let's go.